All right, it's a good thing that we've got a big basement because I really don't want to tear down the first Legona 500 track just yet. Based on time alone, it'll take forever, and I really want to get this second one rolling. So behind us, I have created a 24-foot track. It is 4 tables that are each 6 feet long, and I'm thinking this will be the ring that is the Legona 500 Dreams themed track. Today, we're gonna start building this racetrack. I am so excited. Stick around, guys. Should be some fun behind the scenes action for the Legona 500. All right, so this is the ring that we are going to be working with. I still have to clear some of this stuff off. This is some leftovers from getting ready for whatnot shows and things like that. But beside that, you can see some of the Dreams sets that we will be using decoratively in this racetrack. And this is going to have, 4 turns in it and a couple long straightaways. These are, more than, they're about 2.5 feet, I think, plus 6 plus 2.5. So, something in the neighborhood of 11 feet going this way. And then this is a 6-foot table. Anyway, in theory, the length is about 24 feet long. We're going to have at least 2 elevators, I think, in this thing. The castle one had 3. It had the cotton candy mountain. It had another little green elevator. And then it had the dragon's lair. Those 3 were all elevators. Obviously, we got to go up so that marbles can go downhill. And I don't think we're going to be able to get away with just 1 elevator. So I'm thinking you got, an elevator that takes you up. You kind of race down. You keep racing down. And then you basically get to table height again. You need another elevator up. And then you go down. And then it feeds back into the elevator. Maybe this one will be short enough that it'll be multiple laps. Haven't decided yet how this whole thing will come together. But brainstorming some fun obstacles, some fun decorations. Legona 500 Dreams style is underway. I'm so excited. All right, so obviously we got to have the villain layer be a part of this thing. Probably we'll just go ahead and use the black table for that just to kind of help with theming. I got a whole bunch of these burp rocks. And I have some other kind of burpy type rocks too. And what I'm imagining is you go up an elevator and then you've got effectively the sides of a volcano or, just a rocky kind of, the marbles are crashing down this volcano if you kind of put these things together. I haven't decided exactly how they'd be oriented. That's a pretty steep drop like that. So I'm not sure if there's another way to do it that makes sense. But I got to orient those. But I do think it would be fun to kind of have a volcano, super bumpy area. Got to avoid the marbles dropping too far or too fast. I don't want to actually crack the plastic on this. So there's more to the story than just creating a cool obstacle. I don't want to damage everything. But that's what we're going to start with, is some kind of volcanic bumpy raceway. Let's see what we can do. All right, so I decided that these pieces are just going to create way too steep of a ramp, and I don't like that at all. But these rock panel pieces turned sideways actually form a really nice, gentle slope down when you lock them together. I'm thinking 4 of them side by side makes a pretty good runway. This is about 30-ish of them. It's maybe, 15 inches long. I'm thinking I want it to be longer than that, but I'm ran out of these. So off to Bricklink we go. I typed these rock panels in dark bluish gray. I narrowed my search to USA only and minimum quantity 40. And look. Can you guys see? My friend. It's not focusing. Blue Devil Bricks. That dude is my friend. We're going to be ordering from him for sure. He's got 170 of them. Holy cow. Maybe we're ordering more than I thought. Let's see. Blue Devil Bricks. Let's go. Ooh, look, guys. Free shipping, $50 and more. Blue Devil Bricks, my friend. Order incoming from the Brick Scavenger. Hope you're well, dude. If you happen to see this, order incoming. All right, order from Blue Devil Bricks placed, but that kind of puts us in a place where we're waiting for that order to come to work on that sort of mountainous racetrack for the villainous portion. So we're on to something else, but I'm excited today because we're gonna work on our first obstacle of the day. And I'm thinking that we're gonna take advantage of this bakery and we're gonna use the little Dreamling chef from the bakery. And we are going to create what we're gonna call the meat grinder. I've already been working on parts of the meat grinder, and the idea is we're gonna have these little teeth that are on these stud on the side bricks. And this little meat grinder is gonna spin like this over the top of the racetrack, you know, as if it was sort of grinding meat, but in this case, it'll be grinding marbles. And we're gonna have several of these that will spin, and it'll just, you know, the marbles have to navigate through this, which I think will be a ton of fun. We'll have to use some motors and gears to get these things to spin the way I want. And to be honest with you, I am just not formally trained in motors and gears. I am not a Technic master by any stretch. So there's gonna be some learning here, some kind of tinkering to try to figure out how I wanna do this. And I wanted to show you a couple of things that I've learned already. If I do this and you guys are masters of Technic or gears and you're like, oh God, this guy has no idea what he's doing. You're right, I am not claiming to be masterful at this. My building techniques may not be the most efficient way to do this, but it's fun, and I'm gonna just try to get it to the point where it's functional. But let's talk a little bit about the difference that I've learned between some of these Technic pins, which otherwise feel kind of and look the same. I'm gonna grab a phone stand so that I got two hands to work with here, and then we'll talk about these. Okay, so I'm envisioning that these meat grinders are gonna be kind of on this and spinning, and then we'll have another one right here and another one up here, and they're gonna kind of, you know, be spinning like this. So we're gonna have to find a way to get them to all spin, ideally with only one motor, which means connecting, I think, gear to gear to gear to gear so that I can get these things all to spin at once. But this is a little bit more challenging than I initially thought because of the way these pins are designed. If you haven't seen these Technic pins, I'm learning that the resistance with which these motors can spin, this one spins very freely. This one has tons of resistance. So Lego has gone as far as design these pins so that they have a different amount of resistance based on when you're building how much you want these to freely spin versus sort of resist spinning. I didn't really appreciate that until I started building, and I have tons of these blue ones and they're just really hard to spin. It's gonna make my motor work really hard to spin if I'm trying to get these things to spin. I think these are the wrong pieces to use for this. Whereas if I'm using the tan ones, and then I start locking these tan ones together, let's do one more and I'll show you. Now, in theory, these all should spin very freely, and it will take very little resistance for me to use the motor on this one and then be able to kind of spin multiple gears all the way down the line. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna try building this up a little bit more, see where we're at. But again, I'm not a Technic master. If you're not a Technic master, maybe that was some useful information for you. Let's build some more. All right, so here's sort of what I had in mind. We've got these, you know, teeth lined up. We got 4 lines of them. And then ideally, you know, you spin this and then the marbles are gonna have to navigate through this spinning maze of teeth. I don't know if the marbles can even make it through that. But my fear right now is that it's taking a decent amount of resistance for me to spin this thing. I mean, a certain amount of torque, and I don't know if this motor can provide that. So we're gonna hook this up now and just see if this thing's even capable of doing that before we go any further. So we've got the motor turned on. It's hooked up. We are Bluetoothed to outlet C, speed 25. I have no idea if this is gonna go well or not, but let's find out. I have no clue. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Hey, look at this. Okay, so it's oh, it stopped. So either maybe taking too much torque is probably the answer. Let's try stopping it, bumping the speed up a little bit. Not, well, that's a lot. Up to 57. Let's see if that does something. Play. There we go. Okay, so we are spinning. We're spinning backwards from the direction I want to be spinning. That's an easy fix on Lego Boost here. But it does seem to be mostly handling the torque. We've got some work to do, obviously, on this. But in terms of it doing mostly what we want it to do, it seems to be working. The motors sound like they're working a little too hard, so I have some concern about that. But overall, we might be on our way to an obstacle here. I'm excited. All right, so we've made some good progress today. We've got some tile that will lead into the meat grinder, which any marbles that make it through the meat grinder will obviously come down and then need to go back uphill again to head into the next portion of the track. So we've got the elevator ready to go, and then this hopefully is gonna be an effective transition between the two. Let's do a little practice. Obviously, we haven't done any decorating yet. We gotta get it functioning the way we want first. But as a practice, meat grinder's functioning. Let's find out if this is working. Here's 5 marbles, ready? Here we go. Marbles fighting their way through, drop in, and then they will head up to the top. They're just gonna fall off. But this is where we'll get into the villainous portion of the racetrack. It takes an unbelievable amount of time to build one of these racetracks, but it's super fun. Takes a lot of creativity just simply to get a marble to go all the way around this track. We've obviously got a very long way to go, but good progress for the first day of building the track. Once we have a full track in place, we'll start decorating. Thanks for being here, guys. If you're enjoying the behind the scenes building of the Legona 500, hit that like button for me. Leave me a comment on what you want to see in these. I would appreciate it. We'll see you next time.